my name's Della, and this is my final project for my last year here at Hampshire College. This is a video essay asking the question, what do zoos sell you? Now, right off the bat, you might have a few different answers. Each section of this video explores a different answer, so sit tight as we interrogate each thoroughly. The first is entertainment, then education, brand, and exoticism, before ending in my conclusion. Though I'm at Hampshire now, I grew up in New York City, and I plan to return there, so most of my examples will come from the New York City zoos, especially the Bronx Zoo. It's one of the oldest and largest zoos in all of America, so a lot of the examples of things that I want to talk about can be found in the Bronx Zoo. This video isn't a hit piece on any of the New York zoos, especially the Bronx Zoo. These are just the examples that I knew I would be able to get footage of, and that I had seen myself growing up. This video is meant to be a conversation investigating zoos, but with the end goal of course, making them all better. I want to work in zoos after this, and I think that they do a lot of really, really good work. I've also worked at two of the New York City zoos, the Prospect Park Zoo in summer 2019 and the Bronx Zoo in spring 2021, and I hope to continue working with them. I loved my time there. So without further ado, let's get into Section 1, Entertainment. Now, the first response that you probably had to the question, what do zoos sell you, is the animal. You go to the zoo to get the chance to see animals. But that's a bit of an odd product. It doesn't have an objective value as a transaction. And what can you get from going to the zoo that you can't get from looking up videos of animals on your phone? Now, this might seem like a dumb question. Obviously, there is a value to getting to see something in person versus on your phone or your TV. But I'm not just saying this because I'm Gen Z. This has been a problem ever since the average consumer started having a TV in the 60s. Compare it to something like a play. You go to a play to see the performers perform in front of you. You are guaranteed a good experience. You're guaranteed that they'll follow the script as best as they can. And that is part of the spectacle. But for zoos, it really isn't like that. If you wanted to watch animals on your phone, you're likely to get a narrative, you're likely to get really good footage of them in action in their environment, though as we know, a lot of that narrative is manufactured. And when you go to the zoo, you usually see animals just laying down. You usually see animals sitting there. You can see them sleeping, sometimes you can't even see them because it's too cold or it's raining. You aren't guaranteed a nature documentary by going to the zoo. It's like if you paid money to go to a play and you just kind of watch the actors sitting backstage on their phones. Like, yeah, they might rehearse a line or two, but you could just watch the actual play for free on your phone if you want. I don't know why you would pay money just to watch them sitting around. But this is missing an important component. Zoos are LBEs, location-based entertainment. You don't just go to the zoo for the product, you go to the zoo for the experience of being in the zoo. Compare it to something like a theme park, which is also an LBE. While the rides are the main attraction, you are also going there to go to the carnival, with all of the cultural context and fun that has, apart from even the rides. Or, for example, a fancy French restaurant. You're there for the food, ultimately, but a huge part of the upcharge that you know you're paying for is the feeling of sophistication. It's the waiters being all dressed up and treating you like you're a big deal. These are things that are still based around their product, the way zoos are based around their animals, but a huge part of the business model does not actually have anything to do with the product. It has to do with all the ways that being here makes you feel. Because that's the big thing that sets zoos apart from these other examples. The animals aren't paid employees. The animals are the thing responsible for giving you a good time, but they cannot actually be forced to give you a good time. On TV, they can manipulate and create a narrative. You could see a vision of animals acting in the wild like they should. On TV and in nature documentaries, you can see animals doing interesting, wild things with a bit of a narrative to follow to keep you hooked. And they have made the animals in that into the actors. They found a way to manipulate and cut around the footage in a way that gives you a narrative. But at the zoo, the animals aren't actors. They are just living there. And that's part of the appeal too. You want to see them in the wild as they're supposed to be. You don't want to see them doing tricks. A part of you might want to see them doing tricks, but in the modern day, you want to see them wild. And this is all me talking about modern day, But I'm sure, of course, you've thought of plenty of examples in the past where tricks or narrative or entertainment was valued over the animal's well-being, where you came to the zoo to see the animal do a trick. And those experiences are still part of the zoo today. They've turned feedings into entertainment shows, and they say during this how the work that they're doing isn't just for you, it's for the animal's well-being as well. But part of the reason they're saying that is because the public nowadays does care so much about animals' well-being. They don't want to have an uncomfortable time thinking that they're the ones whose entertainment is hurting the animals. But ultimately, zoos need their patronage, and for zoos to get their patronage, they have to give them an experience with more value than just looking at animals on your phone. So a lot of zoos have ways to guarantee experiences, connections with the animal, things that could only happen in person between you and the animal that is here in person with you. The Bronx Zoo specifically has a lot of paid encounters that you can pay for to be able to make one-on-one contact with an animal. And many of New York City zoos have some kind of petting zoo, even though animals like sheep and pigs aren't really the kind of thing that people want to see at zoos. These places have value because they're the only place in the zoo that you're allowed to pet and feed the animals. They want you to feel a connection with the animal and with nature as a whole. And this is in part because this is the experience that they can give you that recorded entertainment cannot, but also because they do want the consumer to care about animals, to see them as beings within the world and not just a vague concept. Another part of the way that they control the environment and guarantee these wild encounters is in the enclosure and all of the things around the enclosure. They want to make it an experience that has value even if the animal isn't there. They want to make an experience that makes you feel like you're part of the wild, like you're witnessing something great that you could only witness here, even if the animal is slacking. And that'll go into my section 2. Because zoos' main goal and the main thing that they focus on nowadays is education and conservation. Those zoos very, very much used to be places that prioritize entertainment over all else, and it's hard not to when entertainment equals money. Zoos in modern times position themselves as places of education and conservation, even though that's not happening overnight.